This video is not about me or what I can do. It's about why we do what we do, those we sacrifice for, to have a better tomorrow. This video is for my 24 subscribers. I hope you know that I appreciate you. Today I had a thought and it felt kind of awkward. I thought about why I spent so much time on YouTube and why it is that I spend time editing YouTube videos. I thought about time. I thought about energy that I spent away from what matters most. I thought about the many other things I could be doing instead of editing videos. It made me think about why am I wasting my time doing these things? Why I'm wasting time recording videos? Why am I spending money on equipment that I possibly may not even use in the future? And then I thought about why did I decide to record YouTube videos? Do you really need YouTube videos? What brought me to this point that I started to record videos and why is it important? Let me answer that question this way. I started out as a pastor for over 20 years ago, trained as a practical theologian. And after 20 years and some change of studying and researching and being in classes and being in church ministry, and I've landed on something that I felt was deeply important. And it was deeply important for me to bring balance to what I had observed in churches. I had observed for years, the things that I saw in churches. And I felt that there was a deep need for balance. And I didn't quite know how I would communicate that balance or how I would help other people to see that balance. But I felt this deep pull and push to give a different perspective to the Christian gospel than what I had been hearing on television and personal stories in my community and communities like mine. After so many years of thinking and working through these processing and stuff, I thought the church just needs balance. For every prosperity gospel preacher, there needs to be preachers who are out giving their lives so that people can have a safer environment, clean running water. I thought about the farm preachers out in the country who care more about how you treat people than they do about how many degrees you have. I thought about and pastors who were taking care of their communities and building deep-rooted relationships. Spirituality for them was not coming to church and putting on any kind of show or lights, camera, action, but them helping people wash clothes or helping fix the car of a neighbor down the street or helping babysit for a single mom. For every preacher who was, asking for money, or every story that I heard about a pastor who had taken advantage of a parishioner, I wanted to give a perspective that there were equally individuals who were doing hard work in their community and were not getting paid or making much money, that they had mountains of student loan debt, only to make $40,000 a year, if that, with $100,000 student loan debt, so that they could serve a local community. I wanted people to know about why Dr. Martin Luther King did what he did, who earned his doctorate degree before he was 30 years old. And instead of, serving as a professor or doing some of the other great things he could have done because he was a smart young man, that he decided to give his life to a purpose that was greater than himself, which ultimately led him losing his life before he was 40 years old. I wanted people to know what theological processing had he went through to make that kind of sacrifice. I wanted people to know about Dietrich Bonhoeffer and the Confessing Church, who fought against Nazi Germany and felt, even though he was a pacifist, had become known as a pacifist, he felt the need that his Christian witness was that he fight against Nazism and felt that it was his Christian duty to do so. I wanted people to know about that. I wanted people to know that what you see on television is not a total representation of what the church is all about. I wanted people in the world to see that they had a place in the church, and then people who were considered themselves in the church felt like they had a place in the world. And I wanted to build bridges between the world and the church. And I wanted people to hear about Jeffrey Canada and the Harlem Children's Zone and all the money and resources they were raising to help these young kids find themselves and find purpose in life. And many other churches who are doing good work in their community. They're doing positive things. And I wanted people to see that the gospel of Christ, the real gospel of Christ, has real benefits and can really be impactful in communities. I wanted there to be balance. And I felt like people were not getting balance. I saw people coming to church and there was something not right. There was something not complete. I saw people who had a lack of studying scripture, or when you begin to have a conversation about Jesus, people were more interested in other things rather than having the conversations about Jesus. People were more interested in how many folks showed up on Sunday morning rather than visiting people in the hospital. And I thought there was something wrong with that. And I wasn't quite sure, I'm still not sure how that all works out. That's why I started. That's why I began on YouTube, because I felt that this was another avenue to get the message out. That everything that you see and everything that you read is not the totality of the church. It's not all the what Christ represents in the world. And that there needs to be people who know and teach and reinforce this kind of teaching and this kind of Christian witness, what I like to call discipleship. And I don't mean discipleship in a way of, us against them. I mean blurring the lines between the secular and the sacred, where people who did not consider themselves a part of a church were still a part of the church. And that people who were in the church saw people who were not in the church as brothers and sisters, where we could begin to build bridges where people felt like they had community, but ultimately made it good for every country, for every nation, every state, every city, every town, every neighborhood, and every family and every individual felt like they had community. And that the end result is that we begin to make the world a better place, that we would leave the world in a better place than where we found it. And so maybe people are interested in that. Maybe my 24 subscribers are interested in that. And if that is the case, then this video is for you. That the gospel is calling us to begin living that out. That makes the world a better place for all of us, no matter who we are and no matter where we come from. So I dedicate this video to my 24 subscribers. Peace.